Hello, my American friends. I am European engineer, but I call myself stupid engineer. It was like long week and now it's Friday and I get some more comments. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. You give it five. Guys, I get some good suggestions, and today we will look on video which name is 8 things you probably didn't know about NASCAR. NASCAR. Wow, let's see it. Wow,
Over time, I've noticed that a good
I am
chunk of my
excited.
subscribers have either never watched a NASCAR race or have just started getting into the sport. And with the quarantine
No,
finally being
never.
partially lifted this week, and NASCAR being the first American sport to resume competition, albeit with no fans in attendance, there's going to be an influx of new viewers checking into NASCAR for the
Wow.
first time. So I thought it might be a good idea to explain what exactly the hell is going on here for newcomers. NASCAR is actually a lot like
I love those videos. Welcome back. It was a little pause, little break. We are quite a big channel. So we deserve some breaks. But I wanted to tell that it's so fascinating that somebody take a time and make some good video about some like about something. That's I appreciate it. Whoever or who made this video, he deserves some big thanks. So thank you, and I will be so happy to learn 8 things I probably didn't know about NASCAR. I hope that I learned something already from previous videos. Guys, look on my previous videos. I started this channel to make some good money to go to USA and look NASCAR because it's my passion. It's I like never saw it before. Only 4 weeks ago I thought like NASCAR. What the hell? I should look something about NASCAR, and after that I was like going deeper and deeper, and I am like very excited to see all these overtakes and crashes and tactics and like dash cams. It's quite interesting sport and incredible footages. So I'm so excited and thankful to all of you who is commenting on my stupid channel.
at a premium, here are 8 things that you
Wow.
probably didn't know about NASCAR. First off, NASCAR was started by state and federal criminals. Although NASCAR's founder Bill France was never a rum runner himself, NASCAR's early rosters from the late 40s and early 50s were filled with convicts and guys who just never
Wow.
got caught. Before and after Prohibition, intoxicating spirits were banned outright in several states in the Southeast. So enterprising young men throughout the South souped up their hot rods so they could outrun the cops when they were on one of their nightly runs. Eventually, local legends grew, and people wanted to know which of their local bootleggers was the best driver. And so tracks
Wow.
and competitions were organized, and at some point somebody had the bright idea to start selling tickets to these get-togethers, and stock car racing was born. Bill France, a Daytona Beach resident and businessman, as well as a former race car driver himself, saw the growing interest and established the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, NASCAR, and the rest.
Wow. I make some big thumb up for those who has a passion to start some new thing what didn't was before, and it's like something brand new, and you must put some tons of your time and your passion and your family time, but it's worth to make something what is maybe in future known all around the world, like NASCAR.
Rest was
Incredible.
history. While many NASCAR stars had their fair share of run ins with the law, there was none more famous than the last American hero himself, Junior Johnson. A 50-time winner in NASCAR's top series, Junior Johnson was arrested by federal revenuers in 1956 when he went to fire up his
Why?
father's still one night. He spent 1 year in federal prison and was eventually pardoned by President Ronald Reagan many years later, although he had begun the appeal process under the Carter administration. But in true bootlegger
Wow.
fashion, if you ever brought this up to Junior while he was still alive, he'd be quick to remind you that he never got caught behind the wheel while he was making one of his runs. Junior gained a reputation on the track for being a tough-as-nails driver and an innovative mechanic.
Wow.
So innovative, in fact, that he is widely regarded as one of the most cheatingest figures in all of NASCAR. And that gets me to number 2 on this list.
50 times he won NASCAR race. What a
Cheating is
legend.
not only tolerated by NASCAR fans, but is actually celebrated. I know this comes as a shocker and is at odds with every other sport in existence, but hear me out. Although the sanctioning body of
Wow.
NASCAR is very stringent with its rules, NASCAR
Yes.
fans have always turned a blind eye to cheaters in the sport and actually sing their praises amongst themselves. Teams are allowed to either build their own cars or purchase them from other teams. And even though NASCAR has strict specifications that those cars have to adhere to, there's always a little wiggle room left to exploit. There's an old saying in NASCAR, if you ain't cheating, then you ain't winning. Everybody does it, although they're usually bending the rules or just breaking a rule before it's on the books. Junior Johnson was so prolific in the art of rule dodging that he actually had one of his creations put into the NASCAR Hall of Fame, the Yellow Banana, a 66 Ford Galaxy that was one of the most disgustingly illegal cars in the history of the sport, and got its name due to its shape and its yellow paint job. But if there was ever a mechanic who could best Junior Johnson in the dark arts of stock car cheating, it was Smokey Yunick. With a silly name but a penchant for disregarding the rules at every turn, NASCAR fans became enamored with Smokey's antics. He did anything to get a leg up over the competition, making his engines too big, mounting the bodies too far forward on the frame, increasing the size of the fuel tank, and when officials became wary of that, they mandated the size of the fuel tank to 20 gallons. But Smokey then just made the fuel line wrap around the car, which squeezed an extra gallon or two out of the limit set in place. And in one famous example, Smokey had his fuel tank seized by NASCAR tech inspectors, saying that it was too large and he had a total of 10 infractions that needed to be changed. They had pulled the fuel tank out of the car as extra punishment, thinking that Smokey would have to push the car back to the garage. But instead, Smokey just jumped in the car, cranked it up, still with no fuel tank in it, and drove it back to his crew while shouting at the officials, "Make that 11 things." True to his name, Smokey fogged up the lines between right and wrong. And even to
Smart
this
guy.
day, this proud tradition of rule bending is still alive
Wow.
in NASCAR. As
Wow.
recently as 2018, during the Flexgate scandal, Stewart-Haas racing cars have manipulated the bracing on the rear window to give way at high speeds to direct more airflow towards the spoiler, an exploit famously found out by NASCAR Reddit. Being as there was no rule in place to break at the time, NASCAR let the wins by Stewart-Haas stand, but said that anything of the like found going forward would be dealt with harshly, as teams found out the hard way later. The Stewart-Haas team of cars beat the law at the time, but that actually leads to the question, wait, there are teams in NASCAR? Well, yeah, number 3. NASCAR is a team sport. One team owner might expand his stable from one car to include 2, 3, or even 4 cars, the maximum allowable as of right now. Piloted by different drivers with different crew chiefs who prepare the cars, these teams share information and discoveries, but still prepare their cars independently according to the preferences of the drivers. Sometimes this leads to friendly and not so
Okay.
friendly competition in-house.
I love how the thing about NASCAR is a little bit magical. Like it's it's little bit science fiction, and I love it. And the tactics that you must be, maybe it's better to be own by your own only, or you better be in this team of 4, but they are not real team. They just develop cars and maybe they have some discussions and so on. And in some point, maybe you leave this group and make it own self again. So it's a lot of tactics, and for me, it's very, very interesting because Formula One is so strict about rules, about cars, about drivers, about teams and everything. And it's not this Hollywood story. And I think NASCAR is like Hollywood story. For me, it's fantastic because you can build some story about not just cars and racing. but you can build some story about teams, your own development team. You develop something new, maybe you go to your opponent and make it like, oh, copy this thing, but you know that this thing is not worth to have only for yourself. Maybe it will be better to let no opponent. So a lot of tactics. I love it.
which may or may not have beneficial effects on the teams. It's all dependent on the chemistry of the people involved. So the owner of the
Oh
entire
my
operation has to
goodness.
manage his personnel accordingly. Just as important as the team of mechanics are the pit crew members, who service the car during the actual race. These fearless men plucked from the
Wow.
rosters of professional and collegiate athletic programs, brave the chaos of pit road and change tires and put new fuel in the car, all while making adjustments and repairs as dozens of other cars and teams are all doing the same thing on pit lane.
That's
Under ideal
insane.
conditions,
They
a
are
NASCAR
like
pit crew can change 4 tires, top off fuel, and make adjustments to the car in less than 14 seconds. And yes, sometimes
14
accidents
seconds.
do occur and they get hurt. But thanks to safety regulations and the
Oh
skill of other
shit.
drivers out there on pit lane, those incidents are few and far between. The pit crew members are the
Wow.
athletes that make the team the best they can be on. For, yes, the drivers are athletes. It takes a special type of crazy to hop into a metal coffin wearing a fireproof suit and sling a car around at 200 miles an hour. But it
I would never fit inside this car. You saw this? He just jumped in through the window. Never happened to me. Never.
hop into a metal coffin wearing a fireproof suit and sling a car around at 200 miles an hour. But it also takes an insane amount of physical fitness as well. Temperatures inside the car can reach as high as 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And in this oven, you have to think critically about your next move and have cat-like reflexes, all while communicating to your crew about how your car is holding up via radio. NASCAR legend Bobby Allison used to prepare for these insane conditions by driving around his home in Hueytown, Alabama in his personal car in the middle of the summer with the windows rolled up, with the heat blasting, and while wearing several jackets. Drivers nowadays take trips to the sauna, have a strict fitness regimen, and diet they have to adhere to in order to stay at peak performance. The man we can thank for this breakthrough is Mark Martin. A man often derided as undersized during his early career, the 5'6" Arkansas native took up weightlifting and high-level fitness programs to make up for it, and found out that the workouts actually made him better equipped to handle the demands of NASCAR racing. And soon after that, nearly everyone followed suit. Even in his 50s,
Yes, I believe this, that it's little bit science back of these like strategies and tactics and all of the racing. Yes, it must be science. It's scientifical. It's definitely this. And this man who was like underweight and he developed this system that he was like athlete. He incredible guy. I love guys who or people who make some effort to be better and maybe they try some new things. Isn't it great? Yes, it is. I think so. It's guys and you, all of you who is watching my channel. You are great. You are great people, Americans, friendly people. I love you. And thank you so much for new subscribers. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I am so thankful. I my heart. Yes, yes. And it's only 20 subscribers I have. I know it's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. But I'm so happy. And every time I see some new subscriber and some new comment, I am just like speechless and so thankful. And I hope this channel will continue in several years, and I will maybe make some another content, some another races, another sport, maybe more NASCAR sport. And I know my English is like my English is like bin or how to say trash trash English. No trash English. I don't speak like bad words and bad. Oh, what the fuck? Who the pound? What the fish? Whoa. Jack. I speak nice. I'm nice guy.
early career, the 5'6" Arkansas native took up weightlifting and high level fitness programs to make up for it, and found out that the workouts actually made him better equipped to handle the demands of NASCAR racing. And soon after that, nearly everyone followed suit. Even in his 50s and still winning races, Mark was still rocking an 8-pack. Wait, Mark Martin was still winning races in his 50s? Yep, that gets us to number 5 on the list. NASCAR drivers can have incredibly long careers. The average successful NASCAR driver will make his first starts in his early 20s, and will retire in his mid to late 40s. Some drivers even go beyond this. In 1992, Harry Gant set the record that still stands today as the oldest driver to ever win a NASCAR race at 52 years old. Mark Martin got close in 2009 at age 50, but no driver has challenged the throne since. And to give you some perspective, if the youngest driver to ever win a race, Joey Logano, who got his first win at the age of 19 in 2009, beat Harry Gant's record, we would
Wow. Am I right? Logano is very, very successful driver and legend. Is it like this? Because whatever I see about NASCAR, Logano, Logano, Logano. So he must be so famous guy. You have good life. I hope so. I hope so. I really wish him best life, not so stupid life like mine.
have to wait until 2043. Current
Wow.
drivers span all age groups and backgrounds. Joey Logano from Connecticut will turn 30 this year. His teammate Ryan Blaney is 26 and hails from Ohio. And one of the best in the business right now, Kevin Harvick from Bakersfield, California, is 44 and has just signed a multi-year contract extension. Hey, maybe he'll be the one to take handsome Harry Gant's crown. Okay, so we've covered the who, the what, and the why
I
of
love it. I love it. I love it. It's yes, of course, it's about age, but not maybe as in the other sports. I love it that even like good older guys are loaded and they have big chance and they sign some big contracts. I love it. I more and more I watch NASCAR. I think it's special thing. It's like the community of NASCAR fans and drivers and all the entertainment about this. It's like I don't think that Formula One can be even close, or some, yes, rally sport in Europe is is fuck. No, I don't have bad language. No, no, no. But rally sport is so popular here in Europe, yo. You bro. But I don't think it's so entertaining, and the whole series that it's so big, and a lot of, maybe, how to say, it's incredible how NASCAR is big in USA.
NASCAR. But as you sit down to watch the race, what should you be keeping your eye on? Yes, there's daring, death-defying moves and beating and banging action happening every so often, but what keeps NASCAR crazies such as myself glued to the TV for the entire duration of the race? Number 6, it's all about strategy. Most NASCAR races are between 4 and 500 miles long, and as you probably guessed, you have to stop for tires and fuel along the way. But when do you do it? Your tires will wear out faster the harder you push them. So do you just take it easy and make up time in the long run? Or do you push it now and end up losing time as the race goes on? You need to make it to the front in order to win, but when and how you do this matters in the grand scheme of things. Helping the driver and the crew work this out and masterminding the whole plan is the crew chief. He oversees the whole operation and decides what adjustments to make to the car according to the driver. He also makes suggestions to the driver on how hard to push the envelope. Some drivers like their crew chief to handle the mental heavy lifting. Others prefer to run at their own pace and just let the crew chief worry about adjustments. Either way, pairing the right drivers with the right crew chief is crucial to ending up in
Crew chief must be very interesting position. I think so. If somebody of you have been uh, ever crew chief or something nearby NASCAR, maybe you have been in this area as mechanic or some crew chief or some chief or some, I don't know, maybe, hmm? engineer, not stupid European engineer. It's my position. Oh yes.
in victory lane at the end of the day. But there's one
Suggest more videos and leave comments, guys.
other guy in this conversation that we haven't talked about yet, the spotter. That gets us to number 7. Drivers can't actually see that much inside of their cars. Due to safety regulations, drivers are pretty much bolted into their seats and their head movement is very limited. So to help with this, drivers have spotters that communicate with them constantly, telling them where the other cars are out on the track, if there's a wreck up ahead, or what
I never knew it. I never knew it. And even more interesting because you don't have some spotter in Formula One, or maybe yes, I don't know. But nobody is talking about
the leader is up to. These crew members perched high atop the press box are usually family members of the driver or former drivers themselves, who are handpicked based on their ability to communicate effectively with the driver. On those crazy double file restarts, the information spotters provide is understandably extremely important. In the early days before radio communications were widely available, lots of fatalities and injuries were caused simply because drivers didn't know what was happening up ahead. And as you probably expected, anytime a car is on the track, it is required by rule that the driver has a spotter up on the spotter stand to give him an extra set of eyes in the sky. Veteran drivers usually only have essential communications with their spotter and crew chief, as they can almost read each other's minds. However, newer drivers typically have a lot more radio traffic, as the spotter kind of doubles as a cheerleader and guide. And here's the coolest part about all this radio chatter: you can actually listen in. Using various apps on NASCAR.com or by renting a scanner at the track itself, you can pick a driver and listen in on all the back and forth action for yourself. And yes, sometimes the teams listen in on each other to see what kind of strategies they're cooking up, so don't be surprised if they start talking in code. But fair warning, these are grown men and
I'm telling you, that's so incredible with NASCAR. It's some strategy about every single thing. Americans friendly guys, but you have strategy to all, to everything. I love it.
a high-stress environment, sometimes they say things that aren't exactly PG rated. So think twice about having your kids join in. Some tracks, though, are so massive that they require multiple spotters in different locations to help out the driver. And that gets us finally to number 8. NASCAR goes to a lot of very different racetracks, and yes, we even make a few right-hand turns. Every driver in the series has to have a mastery of different disciplines in racing, whether we're
Okay, I want to be spotter. Maybe not
talking about
the
the
main one, but the second one.
2-mile and up super speedways, the half-mile short tracks, or the twisting and turning road courses. By the end of the 36 race schedule, every driver will have been put through a gauntlet of demanding venues. Tracks come in all shapes and sizes, and some of the lower divisions, NASCAR's minor leagues, even race on dirt. These circuits dot the U.S. landscape, from major markets like Atlanta and Las Vegas to small towns tucked away in the southeast like Bristol and Martinsville and everywhere in between. There are no away games, so to speak, in NASCAR, but with the vast majority of teams being located in North Carolina, having to pinball across the U.S. is a demanding effort in its own right, as hauler drivers will work around the clock driving a garage on wheels to and from each racetrack during the year. The crews and drivers will fly out to the track a few days before the race and spend hours running practice laps until they're finally happy with the car and move on to qualifying time trials to set the field, where the fastest driver starts at the front, also known as the pole position. Well, that about wraps it all up. 8 things you might not have known about NASCAR. Hopefully this video has shed some light on this weird tradition.
What an incredible video. Thank you so much, guys. It was 2 suggestions to this video, so thank you. Finally I made this video. I was like very busy this week, but still thinking about NASCAR, about Americans, about friendly Americans, and how I started this channel, why 3 weeks ago I started to make money. I am telling the truth. I want to make money, and it's everybody on YouTube. Maybe not everybody, but the most of people on YouTube, they want to make money. My reason to make money on this channel is to go to USA and look some NASCAR races, maybe meet some friendly Americans, and look families, look the guys, older, younger, the girls, everybody, and just be like, wow, wondering and enjoying and looking, wow, it's so this is functioning, is working, and like have this opportunity. And also, I started this channel to learn about NASCAR, to make like more and more videos about NASCAR, America, some another motorsports, and has knowledge about how it is working. I am starting to be expert. No, no, I am just kidding. I see this the NASCAR. You must be born. Maybe your father must be like some mechanic or driver, or like he must have had some has some connections to NASCAR, and then you be NASCAR guy. I am not NASCAR guy, but if I would come close to NASCAR family, closer, then I will be happy. So, guys from America, thank you for this video. I hope you will be happy and you will have some great time to watching this stupid video. I am grown man, but I am still stupid kid. As I usually say, have a nice day and ciao! Ciao!